Are you proud, armies? When RM stood before the world's most powerful CEOs and heads of state at the APEC, he represented not just BTS, not just K pop, not just Korea, in fact, but the entire global creative economy. RM did what only a few artists have managed to do. He translated art into language that business and policy leaders could respect. And here are the 10 most important points from his speech and why RM has become the model for how artists can serve their country, champion culture, and inspire policy without being political. He started from where he is an expert: music, art, and cultural connection. RM began his speech from familiar ground, the creative space that shaped him. When he used the term cultural industry, he did more than just identify his field, he actually defined the scope of what BTS has built. It was his way of saying that what they do is part of a much larger cultural framework, one that includes art, fashion, film, literature, tradition, values, design, and language. That single phrase carried weight. It explained how BTS succeeded by starting a cultural movement where music is not an isolated pursuit but a reflection of a country's collective artistry. RM understood that the success of K pop is rooted in the idea that sound alone does not create connection. Culture does. And the real bridge between artists and audiences are formed through shared meaning, not just melody. And this awareness has always been the foundation of BTS's approach. From the beginning, they treated music as a language for empathy and discovery. Their albums, visuals, and performances have always pointed toward something deeper, a desire to understand and to be understood. And RM used that same understanding at APEC, reminding the audience that cultural industries thrive not simply because of talent or trend, but because they help people recognize parts of themselves in each other. He owned his success without losing humility. RM shared BTS's story: the small shows, the self printed flyers, the struggle to be recognized as artists from Korea. And that's important because it was a room full of corporate giants. He had to show that he knows what growth looks like, from zero to global recognition. That humorous story when he said that they were being asked whether they were from North or South Korea actually softened the delivery but underlined a serious message. Cultural exports are built from hard work and persistence. He showed that creative industries can move from street performances to billion-dollar sectors. By framing it through lived experience, RM signaled that he wasn't theorizing about success. He lived the trial, the rejection, and the eventual breakthrough. It was a perfect mix of humility and authority, but he still made the message very clear. I know what I'm talking about. I honestly did not expect this part, but he gave so much credit to the fandom army. RM's tribute to Army wasn't just sentimentality, it was actually economic intelligence. He recognized that the fandom is both the emotional and commercial foundation of their work. Armies are not passive consumers. They are active participants who create, organize, and amplify. They buy albums, stream songs, fund causes, drive brand collaborations, but we also market for them. RM's acknowledgement showed an advanced understanding of market dynamics. He knows his customer base, respects them, and credits them for the expansion of what they have done. This is one of BTS's greatest business lessons. When fans are treated as partners, not targets, loyalty compounds and they actually start acting like partners. It's why BTS survived beyond the 7 year expiration that ends most pop groups. RM made sure world leaders understood the cultural success isn't about audience size, it's about community strength. He clearly defined K pop as a culture, it's beyond a musical genre. RM made sure it was very clear that K pop is an entire system. It's where music, aesthetics, storytelling, fashion, and values work together. It's not an isolated genre that exists in audio form. It's a total art form that integrates every sense and medium available. For BTS, that philosophy shaped how they approached creation from the beginning. Music was only the entry point, the first layer of connection. But around it, they built a complete narrative experience. Music videos that expand the story, performances that reinterpret meaning, artworks that visualize themes, digital content that brings audiences into the process itself, and many more. Every release becomes a world that listeners can enter. That's why artistic growth always coincided with technological and creative innovation, from conceptual albums like Wings and Map of the Soul to interactive storytelling through webtoons, games, and short films. Each project extends the narrative rather than repeating it. So BTS doesn't really just create songs to fill an album, they actually create chapters to form a larger cultural text. RM's framing of K pop as culture explains this expansion. To them, art isn't confined to melody or choreography. It's an evolving conversation between the creator and the audience, shaped by shared emotion and collective participation. Their work demonstrates how cultural identity, artistic ambition, and business strategy can exist in harmony, not competing, but reinforcing one another. Culture as a living, flowing force. He said it very clearly. Culture is like a river, it flows freely. He made the case that culture cannot be controlled or contained. It moves, evolves, and merges with one another. Instead of framing cultural sharing as theft or appropriation, he emphasized continuity. That what matters is not stopping others from borrowing, but ensuring we remain grounded on our own roots. It's a balanced, mature perspective, one that leaders and artists both need to hear. National identity isn't preserved by isolation, it's strengthened by confidence. The more secure you are in your foundation, the more generous you can be in cultural exchange. He spoke from humility, not authority. RM didn't lecture policymakers on what they should do. He advocated for the artists who rely on them. Instead of making it appear as if he knows what needs to be done, he simply communicated to the leaders what artists and creators need. And that's leadership. True leadership isn't about crossing over to the side of power. It's about standing with the people you represent while being heard by those in power. In every role, whether speaking at the UN, performing for charity, or addressing the Apex Summit, RM leads with empathy. He speaks as a part of the system he's trying to improve, not as someone who has transcended it. That's why audiences, even in government and business circles, listen. He acknowledged global interdependence. RM reminded everyone that K pop itself is a fusion of local and global influences. That point carries economic truth. No creative industry thrives alone. In music, more than 70% of total global streaming revenue now comes from international audiences. Korean music exports exceed 700 million annually, and roughly 90% of BTS's album sales and concert revenue come from outside of Korea. In film, 70% of box office revenue for major Hollywood studios is international. RM's message was clear. Cultural economies depend on openness. Innovation comes from exchange, and growth comes from diversity. The more we open ourselves to understanding and connection and influences, the more prosperous all participants become. He brought the conversation back to policy and finance. RM grounded his appeal on pragmatism. He asked for financial and policy support for artists because talent and effort alone can't build sustainable industries. He wasn't romanticizing art, he wasn't addressing infrastructure. His reminder that policies and support will be the canvas and playground for creators directly linked culture to economic policy. We've seen this logic succeed before. Agreements like the Hague Convention or the protection of cultural property, cultural exchange treaties, and creative grants across the EU and ASEAN have shown that public policy can multiply artistic growth. Korea's own creative content agency and export tax incentives are living examples. RM's appeal was an economic practicality. Empower artists, fund creativity, and you fund national reputation, employment, and innovation. He didn't overpromise, though. RM didn't frame art as the solution to all global problems. He spoke of connection, not salvation. That restraint is what gave the speech weight and credibility. Throughout history, art has opened pathways to diplomacy and businesses. Ping pong diplomacy between the US and China in 1971, the 1990s Korean cultural exchange with Japan, even joint art exhibitions between rival states have softened political tension. RM understood this lineage. He positioned art as a catalyst, a beginning. People first connect emotionally through art. Policies and deals follow. It was realism wrapped in optimism. And I think it landed. But he also took responsibility and made a commitment. And after asking for help, he made his own commitment. He pledged to fill the canvas and play in the playground that policymakers will build. That closing line transformed a request into a partnership. It told the world that artists don't just need support, they intend to create value in return. He didn't posture as a celebrity seeking validation. He was just a citizen offering collaboration. And that's why his speech matters. It's not just about cultural milestones, it's a leadership blueprint. RM showed that artists can engage in diplomacy, influence economic thinking, and champion creativity without turning political. I think RM's Apex speech is going to be remembered not necessarily for the celebrity moment of it, but more for the integrity and for the honesty of it. He showed everybody how it is to bridge art and economy and national identity without ever having to go into politics. He was humble, he spoke with humility, but he advocated with intelligence. And also, probably the most important thing is that he also promised accountability. It wasn't just him asking for things, he also committed into doing something for everybody else. And this is what leadership should actually look like. Leadership in culture, it's really service before self and clarity before ideology and and substance before hype. I think with what he did, he was able to elevate beyond BTS, beyond hype. He was able to elevate generations of artists. And he was able to prove that for as long as you are grounded on purpose, you can stand in the same room as presidents and CEOs and state leaders and really, really belong there. And I'm so, so proud. I'm super proud. Would love to know what you think. And let me know what's your favorite moment, a certain point in his speech that really stood out to you. Share them in the comment section below. Let's let everybody know how proud we are of our leader. And I'm sure this is just the beginning for him. Please consider donating to the channel. You should be seeing the QR code right now. We have launched our online magazine, but we are going to do a formal launch by next month. Any suggestions or corrections or criticisms, constructive criticisms will be appreciated. Also, please follow me on X, Instagram, but more importantly on Patreon. That's where the community is. If you want to talk with people about movies, TV shows, artists, controversies, or just have fun, that's the place for you. We also have a free tier just in case you want to try things out first. Also, if you are a member of Patreon or YouTube member, I do a once a week live stream, also exclusive videos. Don't Those don't go public ever. And that's it actually. If you can, please like the video, subscribe and hit that notification button. We upload almost every day, so don't miss those videos, please. But I think the one that's really going to help us is if you share the video. Paste the link on your social media, messaging app, email, everywhere, and share it to your friends, to your ex partners or current partners, to your family members, everybody. That's going to motivate the algorithm or push the algorithm to recommend this more. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.